Recently, I attended LFCC Winter to get Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson's autographs and photo shoots. What? I still have a soft spot for the show. Okay, I'm still loyal. Really. Plus, Ncuti is my son's first doctor and he really wanted to meet him. And how can I say no to that? That's my story and I'm sticking to it, all right? Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about what was possibly the most chaotic and disorganized convention that I've ever been to. I've been going to conventions for nearly 20 years. I've seen it all, everything from Stan Lee Gate to photos have not been printed yet Gate. And I was pretty certain that I've dealt with everything. But LFCC Winter was possibly one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Now, for people who don't come from the UK, LFCC or London Film and Comic Con is probably one of the two biggest conventions in the UK calendar, along with MCM Expo. It is something that has expanded over the last couple of years, and they do multiple conventions all around the country now. But it's probably the best convention for autograph hunting and for big name guests. Story time, because this is a lengthy story. LFCC does the concept of diamond passes. Now, diamond passes are you can pay to get a guaranteed photo and a guaranteed autograph with certain key guests. It's normally the big name guests. So you pay a premium, but you're guaranteed to be able to jump the queue and get what is required from them. I'd never done this before, but because I don't live in London and because I had a young child with me, I wanted to do everything in a day. And from my convention experience, I knew it was going to be busy. Diamond passes, it should be noted, don't give you access to the event. Yes, you still have to pay extra for that. And if you're really loaded, you could buy a gold pass, which gives you priority entrance to the event, and then a diamond pass to give you priority entrance to the autograph queue. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'd never done diamond passes before, but I thought I'd do it. So we got batch 7. That becomes important later for Ncuti Gatwa, and batch 4 for Millie Gibson. So we knew where we were in the standings. So I had it all planned. I had all the day planned. I used my convention instincts to know roughly when the photo shoots were going to happen. So I had my train tickets booked in advance. All was good. But come the Thursday before the event, we all get an email to say that Ncuti Gatwa, who was only going to appear on the Saturday, is now only appearing for half of the Saturday, the morning of the Saturday. But good news is he is appearing for Sunday morning as well. This is because of theatre rehearsals, whatever, but fair enough, because this happens. But they were trying to say, if you've got a diamond pass, you can transfer it from the Saturday to the Sunday, and you can go on a different day. So, me, I'd already planned ahead. This was announced in July. I got my train tickets in July or whatever it was. So I wasn't going to change because I knew I had to get into London on a Saturday, traverse the dodgy public transport system on the tube, get there, get the autographs, get the photos, and get back, all with a young child in tow. So I ain't changing for nobody. Becomes important later. This is what I'm going to keep saying because it does. Let's fast forward then to the day. We travel down to Kensington Olympia. Been there before, know how to get there, know the lay of the land, and we wander in. We get in the queue to get our tickets scanned. They're all done via Eventbrite, so they're on your phone, QR code, etc. You know the drill. And I want to know where to pick up the diamond passes because you have to pick them up when you arrive. They don't post them out to you. So I asked the guy who's manning the queue, I said, where do we pick up the diamond passes? And he points over to a quite large queue and says, you pick them up from there. Now you can go to that queue first and then queue to get in, or queue to get in, then go into that queue. I thought tactically, and I went for the diamond pass queue first, and I'm quite glad I did. So we were in this queue for about 15 minutes. And when you're waiting to get an autograph and you're stressed and you've got a child, 15 minutes is the longest time in the world. The reason is because they have 3 members of staff having to go through all these little boxes looking for the names of the people that bought diamond passes. Now, instinctively, I thought, why couldn't they have posted these out or have an electronic copy or something? I think in hindsight, posting them out would probably cause more problems than it would solve. because you've got problems with posts, and then you have people who didn't bring them on the day. At least with this way, they had some kind of control over the process. But in this day and age, having to collect them via an envelope on the day seemed a backward step. We collect them, we rush in, and we head over to the autograph queues. Now, I've got a visual aid because this becomes very important later, as do lots of things I'm talking about today. Visual aid number 1. So this is the view of the main hall for the convention. Now, in the summer, the downstairs of Kensington Olympia is for all traders, and the upstairs is for signings. I naively thought this is how it was going to be laid out for the winter convention, but because it was smaller, everything was squashed into the downstairs, is what you can see here, and upstairs was a youth, young adults, authors, fiction convention thing, which they always do every year. So, naivety number 1 on my part. This is where you come in. This is where we came in. The major guests, which were Ncuti, Gatwa, Millie Gibson, and Michael Sheen, which I didn't get, and I really wish I had now. Anyway, that's another story for another day. They were signing here. This is important. Photo shoot C was here. Photo shoot A was supposed to be there. I'll come back to that in a minute. And the photo shoots with props was there. And then you'll note this small gap running down here, because all this was traders, all this was traders. So to get from there to there, you'd have to move that way down this short, small walkway. Again, all becomes apparent as we move on. You've got that. So we make the run and we go straight to the photo shoot, straight to the autograph queue for Ncuti. And literally, we were the last ones in the queue before they cut the queue. They weren't calling batches for diamond pass. It was just all diamond passes, and they cut the queue behind us. Reason being, he had to finish his autographs and get to his photo shoot, which was pre-scheduled. So that was quite fortuitous. An extra minute or 2, and we would have missed out, probably completely. So the queue was squashed into a really small space. Again, crazy amount of people, and there was no fences, but it was sneaking back and forth in this kind of taped off area on the floor. So around, and then through to see Ncuti. Now, he was set back, as all major guests are, so people can't take photos of him from a distance. And to be fair, out of everything, he was a really good guest. He was really nice, he was really friendly, he talked to all the people, especially the kids, talked to my son, which was great, and we had a really good experience with him. He was certainly going against what probably the organisers were hoping of, doing a production line of signatures and moving on, because he was genuinely talking to everybody. So that was good. Millie Gibson's was next door, so immediately when we finished with him, we jumped across, got in her autograph queue, which was a bit shorter, and got hers done as well. So all was good. Then the chaos started to happen when the photo shoots began. The order of the photo shoots were Ncuti Gatwa's photo shoot first in photo shoot A, then a duo photo shoot of him and Millie Gibson together, and then Millie Gibson's photo shoot afterwards. The key thing here is, for the diamond pass holders, you got a single photo shoot, so you and Ncuti and you and Millie. You didn't have a duo, you had to pay extra for that. That's the key. So, let me go to visual aid number 2. This was something I found randomly on X, a picture from one of the young adult people taking a photo down at the chaos that was unfolding around the photo shoot area. And I'm actually in it, which is even better. So let's just move. Where am I? There I am. There's me, looking extremely happy. Woo. So, give you the lay of the land. Let's get me trusty little pointer out again. So up here is where Ncuti and Millie Gibson's autograph queue is. So they didn't have far to walk. This is photo shoot B, but what they did was they switched around the photo shoots area. So photo shoot A, which is originally going to be off camera down here, they moved to here, and you can actually see the background. So you can probably see how things were panning out. Over here, you had traders, and they continued all the way along here. This way, under here, was one of the main entrances. So the queuing system, I'm going to change colours now because I'm going to use multiple colours for this. So the queue for the photo shoot area was in this space here. And again, you can see me down there. It snaked in on itself, snaked in itself, and you went in over there. So, bearing in mind, this is what it looked like. I can't remember what time it was. It was about 11:30, something like that. It was just chaos because we were there in the queue for about 2.5 hours. So, this is what it looked like when Ncuti's photo shoot started. To be fair, and again, to be fair, there were two guys. There's a guy in a blue t-shirt there, and I think the guy in the red t-shirt is about there. These were members of staff. They were really good. They were managing expectations. They were walking, as he is here, up and down this sort of invisible line where these pillars are, shouting, giving instructions, giving information. They were great. And they were managing what was a very difficult situation. So essentially, what they were doing for Ncuti's photo shoot was bringing forward diamond pass holders. In batches? It's difficult to say because I learnt this while I was there. There was 2 subsections of diamond passes and it gets complicated. So I was batch 7, diamond pass with a blue background. There are also pink background diamond passes, which I would assume was sold later. And it was blue diamond passes first, then pink diamond passes. But what was happening was all these people here, I can actually look on the right screen, all these people here in this area here were just hanging around. So these were people who didn't have blue diamond passes, maybe didn't have diamond passes, and were just stood. Now, the staff were telling them that if you haven't got a diamond pass, come back at 1 p.m. or things like that because you're not going to get in the queue. They didn't move. Now, to be fair to them, if I'm only there to get a photo shoot with Ncuti Gatwa, and that's all I'm going to do, I ain't going to move. But they weren't moving. So what they were doing was causing a backlog blocking this entranceway. And again, this becomes more important later on. But the sheer number of people were just building up and building up. So while that was going on, we whizzled through the queue, we got a photo with Ncuti, and it was great. The exit is here. So you come out and you are fed back into the sea of humanity here. Hold that thought. So we finish our photo, off we go, have a look around the place, and we come back for Millie Gibson's single photo shoot. Her thing was due to start, I don't know what time it was, about 12:20. We turned up about 12:15. And it was still chaos because the duo photo shoot was overrunning. So this queuing area was a little bit empty. They probably had a bit of space. And so we had to join the sea of humanity. And we were stood in where this pink line is. We were stood about there. And for once, they were actually calling by batches. So they called batches 1 to 3, I think it was first. Blue diamond passes, important thing. Everyone else was building up, standing here, because there were also people waiting for other photo shoots that were taking place after the Doctor Who style ones. So it was building up. And then it got worse. Because what Showmasters, that's the company who do LFCC, do, and this is a good thing, not knocking it, is they have a service called Extra Help. So if you're disabled, if you've got vision impairment, if you've got problems queuing, basically if you've got a registered medical disability of some shape or another, you can register for a year. And when you turn up at conventions, you can get more help from staff, you can get a wristband, you can make yourself aware to members of staff, and get priority when you queue. Now, you still have to buy the diamond passes, the gold passes, whatever, to go and see someone, but you can effectively jump the queue jumpers and get in first, which again, I can understand, that's fine. So once they'd let about 3 batches queue here, they started to call in these extra help people. The extra help people had to get from the Sea of Humanity here to the entrance there. So you can probably see where the problem started happening. You had all these people, same amount of people and more, waiting here, and you had people with wheelchairs. We saw a guy who was blind, people with carers, you name it, having to get from this group of people to the front. And it was chaos, because what was happening was the staff were shouting for these people to move forward, but the people over here who didn't hear that could see people moving forward into the area where the queue was not so queuey, and they were all moving forward as well. So the people like me and my son who were stood at the front waiting were getting pushed forward and then getting pushed back by the staff. So when you've got a young child getting pushed around by adults who don't know any better, it became a dangerous situation. And what was happening to make it worse was, as these people were coming in here, more people were coming out of the exit here. And then people with wheelchairs and stuff were coming down here. And it was creating this kind of nexus of people just moving back and forth. And all the time, people were trying to shove forward here. And it got, to be honest, it got out of control. And in the end, my son turned to me and said he felt scared because just, to be honest, arsehole adults who should know better were pushing him out of the way, and I didn't like it. And he said to me, I'm scared, I don't like to stand here, I want to go. So we forfeited our Millie Gibson photo shoot because of the way this was badly organised. We went back bit later on while the photo shoot was still ongoing, and we were told by staff, doesn't matter what batch you are in, you've got to come back later the day. We couldn't do that. I think the photo shoot was at 4 o'clock because we had to go home because we don't live in London. So we missed out on that. Now, I have emailed and asked for a refund. I've yet to hear from them. I did get a refund for the shooty talk that was due to happen on Saturday because they'd already planned for it, but I've yet to hear back from Showmasters about photo shoot refund. Me personally, the events are out of my control. I presented myself and my son when we were supposed to. The situation was deemed too dangerous for him to stay there. We left and came back, and then we told him to go in. The staff did a really good job, but it was just the sheer amount of people in a small enclosed space. I think for me, one of the overarching things for this convention was it was oversold. The fact that they were still selling diamond passes for the Sunday morning on the Friday evening before the convention started showed me that they were definitely overselling, certainly Ncuti Gatwa, certainly Millie Gibson for that entire event. There was too many people fitting in such a small space. It was bound to cause problems. They definitely oversold it, and it backfired. I think had he been there for the full Saturday, the problems would have been spread out and it wouldn't have been severe. But because it was condensed and the diamond passes clearly say guaranteed photo, guaranteed autograph, they had to squash everybody in. And that comes probably to my final point, the fact that the diamond passes themselves, are we at a tipping point now in the UK where unless you buy a diamond pass, you're not going to get an autograph or you're not going to get a photo? It's a difficult thing, but I had the opportunity to get it. I had the flexibility to get one. But for some people, they might not have that flexibility or that option. And it's a worrying trend that may continue into 2025. But certainly, it didn't feel right to me. It felt badly managed. It felt oversold. And they should know better. So there we go. There are my exploits at LFCC Winter. Did you go to the convention? What did you think? Did you get an autograph? Did you get a photo shoot? Did you experience Q-mageddon? let me know in the comments below. Likewise, if you're not from the UK, from the US, and you go to conventions, how does it work? Does it work differently in your country to the UK? Do you have diamond passes and all that kind of stuff? Stick a comment in the comments below because I'm really interested to find out how it is done elsewhere. Until next time, I'll be back soon with more entertainment, Doctor Who videos. Until then, have a good day. Cheerio for now. Bye-bye.